Guys, it's KK Witchy. So I was planning on doing this video on my laptop, but it's being a total right now, so I'll have to record on my phone. So today's video is going to be about learning to be brave and how bravery is not an everyday thing, sadly, and it really should be, because bravery is freaking awesome. And the reason I wanted to talk about this was a couple of weeks ago I had won a tarot reading by Tara, and I will post her link down below. That way you guys can find her channel. She is super awesome. And when I had won the free reading, she sent me a video. She did it on camera, but she privated it and stuff like that. And I was looking at it, and she the cards were showing something negative was going to happen. And I was super worried. Oh, now my laptop goes on. Oh, well, I'm done recording this video on here. And so it was showing that something not pleasant was going to happen. And I was super scared, because out of the 4 cards, it was pretty scary, because when you figure out that something not good is going to happen to you, you're automatically scared, you know. And well, some of us are. At least I am. I panic, because I always freak myself out, because I always think of more horrible things that could happen, and I spaz myself out. I really do. And the last card that she pulled was bravery. Learning to be brave and taking that bravery and moving forward with it. And I was like, okay, whatever's going to happen, I need to be brave about it. But this still wasn't helping the situation, you know. But I figured out what happened, and what happened did happen. I almost hit a guardrail and got into a car accident. Well, my cousin had passed away from it, so when my cousin had passed away a couple years ago, the family had went into total freak-out mode over car accidents and car crashes and things of that sorts of nature, and they were kind of scared about what was going to happen. Well, I was the next in line to get my license and things of that nature, and I knew things wasn't going to be simple, and people didn't want to get me, you know, wanted me to get my license, but I did anyway, and they didn't like it and things of that nature. Well, I had almost gotten to a car accident before that, and almost did the same thing, hit the guardrail, but something stopped me. And I was so thankful that that whatever stopped me, and I didn't hit the guardrail, because guardrails do more fucking damage than it does good. I don't know what the hell people think a metal pole is going to save you when you can just roll into the ditch very carefully without flipping. But no, there's going to be a fucking metal post right there. But thank the universe that I didn't hit it. I really did. I was like, but when it happened, I was emotional, of course. Crying, panicking, having panic attacks after panic attacks, and I haven't had one of those in forever. And, because I used to have them all the time. But, you know, my eyeliner was running, it was raining, I looked like Alice Cooper, things of that kind of nature. And during that whole process, the card bravery had popped into my mind, and there was a voice talking to me the whole time. It wasn't a voice that I knew. It wasn't any of my family members. It sounded like a woman, so I believe that it was my goddess talking to me. The goddess, she was talking to me. I believe it was her 100%. And she was telling me that you will be okay. You need to go home. It's okay. You know, calm down. You'll be alright. And, you know, I was listening to her, but I was still crying and things. And but that card had been in my mind the whole time. And I'm going to take you back to when my cousin had the car crash. He died by hitting the guardrail. And the only thing that saved him was not wearing his seatbelt, because the guardrail went through his car, and if he had had his seatbelt on, then it would have split him right in half. The guardrail would. So when I was thinking of him too, so that made it worse. But the whole time until I got home, that voice was talking to me and just comforting me and telling me that it'll be all right, that you're almost there, you can do this. And that card was flashing in my mind the whole time that voice was talking to me. And after that, you know, my mom, she was flipping out too, because I'm her only baby, and it scares a mother when you hear that your child is in a car crash or was about to be in a car crash and things of that kind of sorts. So, my mom, she was worried too, and she kept asking me after that about if I wanted her to drive, drive me to work or drive me here, drive me there. And my answer to her was no, that anything, it could have been worse, but it wasn't. And I'm very glad for that. But after she had asked me things of that kind of sorts, we had went somewhere else, I think, the next day. And I thought I was going to be freaking terrified to ride in a car again. I thought it was, because my sister had experienced a car crash too. It was pretty bad, it put her in the hospital. But I really wasn't scared, which was weird, because I thought I would be flipping a nervous wreck. But I wasn't. I wasn't scared at all. And so after doing that and experiencing that, I learned that fear is more programmed into people's minds and their bodies and their souls than bravery is. And the more I got to thinking about that, I was thinking, yeah, that's true, because when you're younger, people program you to be afraid of this or that, and this or that. And when you're older, you're not really, people really don't program you to be brave about things. Some people do, actually. Some people do program you, but it's very, very rare. And if you ever have any time, I want you to watch a show called What Would You Do? And I can't remember who directed it, but it's on YouTube, and different episodes about situations that people had did. So I'll probably find a video for you and link it down below. That way you guys can see an episode or whatever. It was a TV series, and it was about this, what would people do? And it was about these people that was put into situations, or racism or anything of that kind of sorts. And it showed more people passing by and letting things happen or letting things escalate because they were too afraid to speak out. They were too afraid to be brave. And that was sad. But a couple of individuals would speak out, and that's what gives you hope. That's what gives you hope from this entire thing. So the thing, if I ever have children, the one thing that I want to teach them is to not be afraid to speak out. And if someone is getting bullied or hit or anything of that kind of sorts, I want them to speak out. I want them to tell somebody and not to be afraid to get involved and show someone that they care. So, being brave is not easy. It can scare you. It really can, especially if you don't know what's going to happen if you speak out. But speaking out could possibly save somebody. And I had experiences throughout my childhood dealing with bravery and things of that kind of sorts. Such as I'm going to be honest with you, I was sexually abused when I was younger, and for years by two of the same, two of the same people or whatever. And when I was younger, it destroyed me more than it destroyed them. And I went through depression and, all kinds of that crap. And the whole time I was too afraid to speak out. And when all in all, I could have stopped it at any time if I just had been brave to speak out. But when I was young, like I said, what was programmed into me was fear. Fear of those people, or fear of what would happen to their families. I know. All through this experiences, what was happening to me, I was more afraid what would happen to the people that abused me, what would happen to their families, because they had kids and everything of that kind of sorts. I was scared for their families. And, how their daughters would grow up without a father and crazy shit like that. And looking back, if I could go back and hit myself, I probably would. Because now I've learned that you should have spoke out the first time it happened. Don't let it continue to happen. And things of that kind of sorts. But I was never programmed to speak out. Or when my mom, bless her soul, I love my mom to death, but when it comes to something that she don't want to hear, she don't listen. So, of course, when I told her what had happened, she took both their sides and left me, didn't leave me, but like as emotional and heartbroken as I was, because it broke my heart because these people that I trusted had came into my life and violated me and destroyed every bit of innocence that I had, and it killed me. It really did. So, but when I told my mom, she, of course, said I was lying and things of that. But I have moved forward, and I have forgave the people that did that just because, for myself, I was being brave because I was always scared of what had happened to me that it would happen to me again. And I wouldn't let people in. I had a hard of a time loving, and I still do to this day. I still have trusting people is one of the biggest things that I have a hard time doing. And so, but I did learn to forgive out of that, and I did learn to be brave and forgive them, because I did not want to forgive them at all, but I had to for myself. So, moving on from that, being brave, people need to program more people to be brave and to not let things like that happen, and to not let, bad situations like that keep happening. If you know that something's happening, please speak out. Don't be afraid to speak out, because you may save somebody's life. So, with that being said, I just wanted to share the bravery video. And if you guys have had something happen to you, or where you have spoke out about something, please share. You can do a video response or comment below, and just share the bravery stories. I think this is something that needs to be talked about more in our community and other communities and things of that sorts, because bravery is just not in witchcraft. It is not just in Wicca. It is not just in paganism. It is everywhere, and it can be everywhere, such as fears everywhere. Let's spread bravery. Let's, don't be afraid to speak out or do something or anything of that kind of sorts. So, with that being said, I'm going to let you guys go, because I think, I think I said everything that I need to say. And I think I left this at a good place. So, bye guys.